How did Iliman Ndiaye help win Sheffield United promotion to the Premier League? Now, don't think for 1 second that I believe anything like you can have a one-man team. Football isn't basketball, and one player can massively help and impact a season, but it takes a team. Iliman Ndiaye was just a key component to the team effort for Sheffield United. So today, in this video, we're looking at how the boy we got from Boreham Wood helped spearhead a campaign that ended in promotion glory for the Blades. And we're going to talk about Iliman Ndiaye, born in France to a Senegalese father and French mother, the only boy in a family of 8. And we're saying that Iliman Ndiaye went from playing futsal to the non-league to the Premier League. Also, let's throw in there the World Cup. Iliman Ndiaye has become the best player, I'm just going to say it, I have ever seen in red and white. And it's happened in a relatively short time. For Illy, though, it's been a lifetime in the making. It just feels quick for us watching. Iliman's story is, for some, well known. All Blades fans have heard tale of this incredible journey. Some know he moved to London at just 14 years old to find a football club and to try to achieve his dream. Sheffield United fans can thank head of academy recruitment Steve Holmes for spotting the prodigious talent and taking him first on trial to United. For myself, I was first told about how much potential Iliman had from viewers who regularly watched the Blades youth setup. There was videos on YouTube from his days in France as a youngster, training with the ball, running with what looked like a parachute on his back to increase his strength, ball skills in tight confined indoor spaces, wonder goals in matches, hearing the instructions from his football-mad father. There's clips about Boreham Wood, there's interviews from his time at Hyde, then there's the Rising Ballers content. So many clips, and of course our own interview with Sheffield United owner Prince Abdullah, who told us during our chat with him that we had made our best signing and it was a player already at the club.
I think we're about to sign one of our youngsters, and we believe that this could be our best signing this window.
We knew he was referring to the contract of Illy, and the excitement of seeing that home debut was then palpable on the 11th of September 2021 against Peterborough. He scored twice. United won 6-2, and he looked to have an instant telepathic understanding with loanee Morgan Gibbs-White. What a day in the sun that was. That season would see a bit of turmoil, with manager 𝗍𝗶𝗍𝗂𝗏 replaced by Ndiaye's former under-23 manager at Sheffield United, 𝗍𝗶𝗍𝗶𝗃𝗏𝗏. And the Blades didn't really get up and running until the end of November, when 𝗍𝗶𝗍𝗏 came in permanently. By then, ground had been lost, and ultimately this would prove costly in the pursuit of automatic promotion. Iliman produced 7 goals in 35 appearances that season, largely playing in an advanced midfield role. There was some memorable moments, particularly that mazy run, dribble and goal away at Fulham. Ndiaye has played under 𝗍𝗶𝗍𝗏 before in the Blades first team, making his debut with Ҳеки as interim manager in a match away at Leicester City, a late substitute in a 5-0 defeat on the 14th of March 2021. That was in the Premier League. That wasn't a particularly memorable match for Illy, for Blades fans, or anyone really who watched it, unless you're of a Leicester City persuasion. Thankfully, the following season, after the signing of a new deal, we'd get to see what the Senegalese playmaker was all about. And we now know. Cut to the 2022-23 season. Morgan Gibbs-White had returned to Wolves following his very successful loan spell, and it was all up to Iliman to be the tricky creator and finisher. The question was, could he step up and help propel this side back to the league in which they belong? Sheffield United, a founding member, of course, of the Premier League, and have spent far too long out of the top flight since then. The promised land beckoned. The Blades would, we now know, deliver. And Ndiaye would deliver, both on the domestic and the world stage. Iliman had been utilised often as a midfielder. He'd had spells on the wing, attacking midfield and up front. In the 2022-23 season, he'd largely operate as a support to an out-and-out striker, be that 𝗵𝗍𝗶𝗲, Ollie McBurnie, briefly Rhian Brewster, or speedster Daniel Jefferson. This was to be the season that Iliman delivered on all that potential. The best player in a team full of championship quality. A player who can clearly step up to the next level, as demonstrated in his substitute performance against Tottenham Hotspur at Bramall Lane in the FA Cup and globally at the World Cup for Senegal. Iliman came off the bench against World Cup hosts Qatar and assisted Bamba Dieng for his side's third goal in a 3-1 win. He then performed superbly against more fancied Ecuador as a starter from the right of midfield, completing 4 dribbles out of 5, created a chance, and he just did an excellent defensive job when called upon as well, showcasing his range of abilities. Ndiaye is a stronger, physical player than many give him credit for. Thankfully, his World Cup performances, including against England, didn't see him whisked away from the lane as soon as the winter tournament was over, which some Blades fans had feared. Worth noting as well that Ndiaye is under contract at Sheffield United until June 2024. How many would like that to be much, much longer? The remarkable rise for the French-born forward has seen his 22-23 season look like this. 15 goals, 12 assists. But that only tells a small portion of the story. To watch Iliman week in, week out is to see his close control, his ability to get out of tight situations, seemingly impossible situations with defenders crowding around him, skills he's learnt from a young age, playing in the garden or the park with his family, and some of them all trying to get the ball off him. He finds pockets of space, even though no player is more heavily marked or talked about in the United lineup for any opposition. He can run with the ball, sprint without it to drag defenders away and create opportunities for others. Many of these attributes are not obviously evident if you just look at stats. Sometimes they're not obviously evident if you just look at highlights or take in the odd Blades game. Iliman needs to be watched regularly to be truly appreciated. And like any player, he'll have moments when he does go missing. He'll have sometimes not the ability to take every chance that presents itself, but no player does. What he generally offers is consistency, effort, and a never-say-die attitude. Another area United fans quickly picked up on, and something that definitely contributed to the success of the 22-23 season, is Iliman's desire to win the ball back. If, and it is rare, he loses it. He seems to put losing the ball on his own shoulders, and he makes it a one-man mission to win it back and not let his teammates down. I've always liked that about him. He is overall a very reliable player. He never lazily walks around, never decides today he just doesn't fancy it. First minute to the 90th, he is still running, wanting the ball, never shying away and offering an option. In his first full season, we saw him last 60 minutes or so in games. Cramp and fatigue came calling. That is now thankfully a distant memory. He's bulked up, built on his fitness, added an extra element to his already incredible game. There is no one else like Iliman. He's a live wire, a unique talent, a product of years of toil. He's got a love for the game. He's got a dedication. He will have had nights when I'm sure it was tough, perhaps once or twice, doubts creeping in. He didn't get to the top the conventional way, and that has only contributed to his effort. He is strong-willed. He doesn't take any of this for granted. He's also incredibly polite off the field. He's well-grounded. He's passionate about his faith. He is a practicing Muslim. And he's also passionate, as we know, about his football. The Blades season needed to get started after a poor away showing at Watford and a 1-0 defeat. Iliman Ndiaye has improved his game from last season. Some say he stepped out of Morgan Gibbs-White's shadow. I don't necessarily agree. I think they were quite similar players. Yes, they complemented each other. And Iliman learnt a lot from Gibbs-White, but Iliman naturally just developed as players do with age. More game time and the trust of his manager and the trust of his teammates. The season did really get started with Iliman Ndiaye scoring after just 7 minutes at home against Millwall. Let's forget about that Watford game. Out-muscling the defender and slamming home an unstoppable finish on the right-hand side, across the keeper and into the bottom left. The Blades up and running with a 2-0 win. Against Blackburn Rovers, a 3-0 win on the 20th of August. Iliman would pick up the ball deep in his own half, again using his strength to shrug off his man and run and run and run, riding tackles with a defender and keeper to beat. He feinted one way, twisted the defender's blood as he loves to do, and shot powerfully with his left foot into the back of the net for many their favourite goal of the season. He's both-footed, a wizard with a ball at his feet, and a scorer of all types of goals. But the wonder goals stick in the memory. However, a team doesn't get promotion on wonder goals alone. You can't rely on them. There's the strikes that may be less memorable but equally important that stick out for some. For example, Preston away, when Ndiaye danced past a tackle in the box and fired a shot in off the post to set United on their way to a comfortable 2-0 victory. And West Bromwich Albion away in the league, 11 minutes in, a tough place to go at the best of times, the Hawthorns, but Ndiaye took this one by the scruff of the neck and helped the Blades to another 2-0 victory. Again, a good example of his position and movement. He starts on the left, leaves the ball for McBurney in the middle, who can't quite get to the right wing cross, and Ndiaye runs in from the left and pounces in the box to finish tidily. Stoke at the Lane, a 3-1 win. Iliman Ndiaye waiting on the edge of the box for the left side pullback, darting in with a perfect bit of timing and coolly slotting through bodies to put the Blades a goal up. One of my personal favourites, though, and I think this sums Ndiaye up, late in the game, 80th minute, against Cardiff City, the Blades 2-1 up, and Iliman is on the shoulder of the last man, waiting for an error, forcing an error. He sees the pass back from the Cardiff defender. It's too short for the onrushing keeper, and Iliman pounces. Deftly knocks it past the goalkeeper and slams it home from close range. A beautiful goal to see at Bramall Lane. It's Ndiaye all over. If you make a mistake anywhere near this talent, you will be punished 9 times out of 10. What's been your favourite Ndiaye goal of the 22-23 season? Let me know in the comments. Let's see what channel co-host In Good Nick thinks. But first, here's Ollie.
So, Iliman Ndiaye, now he's given us so many special moments this season. It is really tough to try and think what my favourite is, but it's got to be, my favourite Iliman Ndiaye goal has got to be the winner against Spurs. Now, the reason for it is that it summed up a lot of what has been so good about Iliman Ndiaye this season. It was fancy skill work, it was nice touch, it was quick linking play with the players in behind him, and it was a really nice controlled finish. But it was so much more than that, because it was, for Sheffield United, a massive part of our season. We were playing against a, at the time, very well thought of Premier League team in the Champions League race. We were playing against a team that next season we knew we were going to have to be competing against, and we showed that we can do that. Having made tons of changes ourselves, the reaction at Bramall Lane was absolutely incredible. The crowd went mental. It got the response that it deserved. Thought it was a great goal, but an even better moment. And without it, we don't have some of those special times towards the end of the season. We don't get to go to Wembley. And so my favourite Iliman Ndiaye goal is undoubtedly the winner against Spurs.
Cheers, Hal. There's so many goals that stand out for Iliman Ndiaye this season. I think you've already spoken about a few of them. So I'm going to talk about the Reading one at home. We absolutely hammered them. They were top of the league. And he's on the edge of the box, just inside the box. 3 defenders around him. Looks like he's going to shoot with his right, which the season before, he probably would have just shot with his right. But he turns inside, beats another man, and then curls it into the bottom corner, past the goalkeeper, with no problem whatsoever. Now, he's right-footed. He's so confident on his left foot, as what we saw against Blackburn, as what we saw against Fulham the season before. He can get the ball into great positions with his quality dribbling ability, and then he doesn't mind shooting with his left foot, which just shows what a fantastic player he is. And that was a special goal, just like the Spurs one, just like the Blackburn one, just like the Preston one away. What a player we have got.
Iliman Ndiaye's composure in front of goal has improved. He doesn't seem overawed by the big occasion. Last season, we saw him not take chances in a really crucial game, Nottingham Forest, in the second leg of the playoff semi-final. He's not the finished article now, by any means. One can always improve. We saw him rather snatch at a chance against Manchester City in the opening minutes of the FA Cup semi-final. But that has not been the story of his season, and I hope I've already demonstrated he has improved in his composure in front of goal. His aerial ability, his bravery, and his goal return have demonstrated that. He is an all-round attacking talent who can play anywhere across the front line, attacking midfield or on the wing. And Ndiaye's goal away at Bristol City in a 1-0 win epitomises how he's improved in one of the areas I mentioned. He heads home, sees the keeper coming, but he knows he could get clattered, but he remains composed, doesn't snatch at it, and he heads it exactly and perfectly where he needed to go. He worries about the results later when he knew he could get clattered by the keeper. Very brave. It's no coincidence Ollie McBurnie enjoyed the season he had with a goal return of 15 goals in all competitions, thanks to Iliman. His ability to drop deeper, sometimes it even looks like he has a free roll. He pops up across midfield or out wide, and he creates space and he creates chances for McBurnie. A different striker up top or supporting Ollie, and you'd probably see different results. But Iliman allowed opportunities to fall to the Scotsman. He pulled defenders away. He's got his incisive passing, his crossing, and his selfless play. McBurnie also benefiting from knowing that Iliman will be making those darting runs into the box, sometimes late, to assist him too. Like Reading away, McBurnie made it to the byline, pulled it across the face for Ndiaye to pass it into the back of the net and then end up in the back of the net. 40-plus goal involvements between Illy and Ollie in 22-23 season. Best goal assists per minute played. McBurnie every 148 minutes and Ndiaye every 155 minutes. And we could also throw another player in who's benefited, 𝗏𝗏𝗃, 159 minutes. And Ndiaye's one-touch flicks to teammates, his no-look passes, sometimes just leaving the ball completely. When he sees it, will run to a teammate as he darts away, bamboozling a defender. These are all crucial weapons in his teamwork arsenal, all vital parts that help the greater machine to turn. The selflessness of Ndiaye is, I think, what makes him stand apart. If you want a true example of Iliman as a team player, have a look at the setup against Blackpool away on the 29th of December 2022, when he could have shot in the box, but instead rolls it across for his teammate Sander Berge to score in a 2-1 win. In the final match away at Birmingham City, we saw another example as he raced away from a defender, knocked it past the Blues keeper and laid it off for a simple 𝗏𝗏𝗃 finish. Without Ndiaye, the season looks very, very different. As 46 league games in a championship season, Iliman Ndiaye had 43 starts. That's the most in the squad. Sheffield United are far from a one-man team. I can't stress that enough. The spine of any successful side, though, is vital. When you have Iliman Ndiaye as part of that framework, anything is possible. As we saw, that ended up being promotion to the top flight of English football. With Ndiaye, Sheffield United have a once-in-a-lifetime talent to enjoy.